Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to solve our skillrack daily challenge using Python programming language. Before going to logic, if you didn't subscribe to our channel, then subscribe right now and make our work more meaningful.
Let us solve today's DC using Java programming language. The program must accept an integer n which is nothing but number of students and it must also accept the name and marks of n students. Students will get extra marks from 0 to 10 based on their attendance percentage. The program must also accept the extra mark of n students and add it with the original marks which should not exceed 100. Finally, print the name and updated marks of the student. The program must accept an integer n which is nothing but number of students. It must also accept the name and marks of n students. The students will get extra marks from 0 to 10 based on their attendance percentage. The program must also accept the extra mark of n students and add it with the original marks which should not exceed 100. Finally, the program must print the name and updated marks of the student. Now, for example, if the mark is 95 and the extra mark is 100 means the sum is 105 but 100 should be printed. Mark should not exceed 100. Finally, we have to print the name and updated marks. So let us consider our test case. In this test case, we are having n is equal to 3. So 3 students are here, 3 names with their marks. Hector 95, Arjun 97, Rachel 82, and their extra marks are given, which is 5, 5 and 10. So our output should be in the format of hectare. So the mark of hectare is 95 and the extra mark is 5. So we have to add these both. So 95 plus 5 is nothing but 100. So hectare will be getting 100 marks. Next, Arjun. Arjun is having 97 marks and extra mark as 5. So the total of 97 and 5 is 102 which exceeds 100. So 100 will be printed. So Arjun will get 100 marks. And next, Rachel. Rachel scored 82 and her extra mark is 10. So 82 plus 10, 92, which does not exceed 100. So 92 will be printed for Rachel. So this will be the format of our output. Now let us consider for our another test case. In this test case, n is equal to 4. So we are having 4 students here and their marks are given and their extra marks are also given. So first Oliver scored 100 and his extra mark is 10. So 100 plus 10, 110. So which exceeds 100. So 100 will be printed. Next, Catherine scored 30 marks and her extra mark is 5. So 30 plus 5, which is 35. So 35 will be printed for Catherine. Next, Deepa scored 95 and her extra mark is 2. So 95 plus 2, 97. So Deepa scored 97. And finally, Mambu scored 25 and her extra mark is 8. So 33 will be printed for Mambu. This will be printed as our output. We have to define a class student which accepts name and mark of a student. We need to implement method to add extra marks to the original mark. We have to define a class called student which accepts name and mark of a student. We need to implement a method to add extra marks to the original marks. Now let us implement our program in Java programming language. Here this is the public class hello and we are having the void main function here. Inside the scanner class we are having an object sc and getting the input, that is integer n as input. Next we are declaring a array list which accepts a student. So it is an array list of students. Next we are iterating over the for loop and getting the student's detail, that is a name and a mark of the student in string format. Next the student details are added to the student class, that is a student details, that is student name and the mark of each student, which are added to the students. Now after adding the name and marks to the student, we have to add the extra mark for the student and print it. So for that we have used another for loop, student of extra marks, and finally we are printing that students. Now let us have a class student. Now inside the class let us declare the name as it accepts student name and student mark as arguments. So private string name and private int mark. Now let us declare a student which accepts name and mark. So public student which accepts string name, that is name of the student and mark of the student. So string name comma int mark. So now let us store the string name to the name and marks to the mark. So let us use this dot name is equal to name, this dot mark is equal to mark. Now after storing the name and mark, we have to add the extra marks. So let us have a public void. Why we are using void here means it returns nothing. So public void of add extra marks. So let us copy and paste. Add extra marks, which accepts int extra marks as argument. So we have to add the extra marks to the marks. So this dot mark plus equal to extra marks. So after adding the extra marks to the mark, you have to check whether the marks does not exceed 100. So if this dot marks is greater than 100 means we have to reassign it to be 100. If it exceeds 100 means we have to reassign the this dot mark to 100, or else we will return the same. So for returning the value from a class, we have to use override method. So let us write override of public string to string of. Now in this public, let us return to string. So return this dot name plus colon plus this dot marks. Our output will be in this format. So this will be returned. So this is the class student.